It's difficult to make something of a really small garden. So many things you want to put in there with so little room for anything. It often left me scratching my head during the design process. As you can see from the video, our garden is now packed full of useful features. A beautiful new summer house equipped with music, lights and a table for four. A new shed with power, lighting and enough shelves for all of my tools. Our gorgeous fire pit complete with hidden gas bottle storage. A small tropical garden area with various palms and shrubs. And block paving leading to our decked area where we enjoy summer with barbecues and a dip in the hot tub. But our garden wasn't always this spacious. Let me take you back to 2009 when I moved in, and let's see where this all started. This picture was at a housewarming party I had back in 2009. My sister Linda on the left, my dad in the middle, John, and my daughter Abby on the right. As you can see in the garden, the fences have been painted green, the grass has been cut. I just put a little border around the edge and planted some corder lines, moved my shed up the end of the garden. But as you can see, the fence at the end of the garden and the one on the side, there's a little alleyway that runs around the back of that. There was supposed to be some kind of emergency exit for the neighbours or something. But back in 2012, I asked permission if I could remove all of that fence and make the garden a little bit bigger. And so we set about to do that, as you'll see from this next picture coming up. We took all the fencing down, took the posts out. The weeds were unbelievable. It must have been 8 foot high at the back of the garden. But we managed to get all of that down and bring it all nice and level. And so that we had an open canvas in which to design something else. As you can see from this next picture, it's interesting because the tree is still at the back part of the garden there. A big double trunked tree, must have been about 60 foot high. We had that removed later on down the line, but I'll come to that later. You can see me clearing the shed here. As I say, trying to clear the garden, get all the fencing down and open up that little alleyway at the side to try and make the whole thing just that little bit bigger, give us a little bit more space, and yeah, see how we get on. So the first transformation of our garden came in 2012. We were told at the time by our housing association that under no circumstances were we to build or encroach on the path that we had just opened up. Mad, I know. But we were determined to make something nice, so we ordered a new summer house and began to design the garden around that. Our idea was to build 2 planters either side of the summer house, remove all the grass and block pave from the patio towards the planters. We then set about building some decking where the patio used to be. So we were done. We had our tiny little courtyard garden complete with palm tree, corder lines, hanging baskets. All the fences were repainted. The garden looked absolutely fantastic. We enjoyed that beautiful little space for around about 5 years before we ventured over the back where the tree was. In 2015, I asked for permission to have that small plot of land that was beyond the fence you can see in the picture there. I was given that permission because it was a tiny little bit of wasteland that people just dumped their rubbish on. So we decided that we were going to make that our next project, get over there and see what was in store for us there. And coming up in the next small video, you'll see when we first broke through the fence, and we'd been working on it for a couple of hours, and you can see by this video coming up when we broke through the fence. It was an absolute nightmare. Have a look at this. The pictures don't do it justice, really. The amount of work we put in over there getting all those bushes down. We had multiple trips to the dump getting rid of rubbish. We filled up our brown bin I don't know how many times for the rubbish people to take it. And then of course we had to remove the fence as well at the back and the concrete posts. The whole job took us forever and a day, and we did all that in 2017. It wasn't until much later on that we decided we were going to make use of this land, but for now, what we wanted to achieve was to clear it all out, make it secure, repair any damage in the fencing, and just make sure that it was, secure, tidy, cleared up. And we left it like that for quite a few years actually, before we went back and revisited it. We just kept it tidy, we kept the grass down. But then in 2020 we had the tree removed. They took it right down to the stump, and then we had to, back in 2023, I think it was 2023, we had to build this wall to retain the soil, because as you can see, the ground is higher at the back than it is on our part of the garden. So we had to build this nice solid wall, which was on top of the path that originally was there. We had to build a nice solid decking wall, and as you can see, we've lined it as well, so that it didn't rot with the earth that was going to be going back against it. And we did that in 2023, and basically that is what laid the foundations for us doing a project up on top of that land later on in 2024, which brings us bang right up to date. So in 2024 we decided to make use of that bit of land up the back of our garden. As you can see by the pictures, we've started to postcrete all of those posts in. I mean, some of those lengths of 6x2 were over 6 meters long when we bought them, to try and keep them all in one piece. You can see the amount of work that's gone into that, all the noggins that are in the middle, and all of that was to try and make it as strong as possible, because we knew we wanted it to be straight and we wanted to put our shed up there, among other things, so it had to be strong. In this picture you can see it's all been painted black, one to give it a bit of protection, and two so that you wouldn't see all the bits of wood once we put the decking down. You can see in this picture we put the trellis up at the back to give our neighbour at the rear of us some privacy, and we painted all the fences black there, and the outside trim for the decking is on and has been stained. The blue bit of tarpaulin you can see hanging down is basically just to protect the timber underneath once the earth goes into that garden area, which is there, and you can see the tree stump there. And again, all of the blue tarpaulin stuff you can see was to protect the timber from the soil that was going to be put on top of there. In that picture you can see all of the fencing has now been painted black, and I think you'll agree it looks like a massive area now, something that you could really do something with. We removed our old summer house, as you can see here. The paving needed to be replaced, but we got onto that a little bit later. Once we had that done and the shed built, we moved on to build the base for our summer house, which is what you can see here. More postcrete, more noggins, a lot more digging, back-breaking labour, removed all of the paving, did all of the electrics so that it had power, and as you can see, that's looking pretty ship shape and Bristol fashion. And then we got the top on top of that, ready to build our summer house on top of that. All that needed to be done with that little piece was for it to be stained the same colour as the rest, which we did in this next picture. And then from there you can see all the paving's been removed. We moved over and decided to build what would be the holder for the fountain and the gas bottle storage. So these holes were dug to build a nice strong foundation for the fountain once it was put in. And then you can see from the next picture the base where the bowl full of water for the fountain will sit on, and the hole has been dug for the canister for the gas bottle to be hidden for the fire pit, which you'll see in the next picture coming up now shortly. Put some postcrete at the bottom of that and put some paving down there so that it was flat and level, and that made a nice little storage hole underneath the decking with a little lid on to put our gas canister. That's it, sort of taking shape there, and I think you get the general idea, guys, so I'll leave you with the pictures. So once we got on with the fire pit and that was all buttoned up, we really needed to get over and build the summer house. So we shifted ourselves over, or obviously we still had all the paving to do, as you can see in this picture there, but then we managed to get the summer house up. It was a real pain in the arse. This summer house wasn't the best quality, but it was kind of what we wanted, something with big windows, double doors, and plenty of room inside. As you can see here, lots of holes in the wall to fill up. I mean, this thing was like a piece of Edam. I mean, there was holes everywhere, and we wanted it to be warm and cozy in there, so we filled all of the holes that we could see. Did as much repair work as we could on every panel. We sealed it all at the bottom. We insulated it as well. We put some insulation up between the panels there to keep it warm, as you can see here, the one on the right there. The black wire is the power leading into the summer house, and then we began to board that up. And of course, once that was all boarded, you can't see it in this picture, but I'll show you a little bit later. Once the whole thing was boarded and that part was done, we had to move over and finish off the paving, which we did here between the summer house and the water feature part there. So we finished off all of that paving and got that nice and neat and tidy. We installed a underground pipe for the gas for the fire pit. And then we got the fire pit installed, as you can see here, and all the pebbles around, and as I think you'll agree, looks nice and neat and tidy. And of course you can't see the gas canister because it's hidden to your right there underneath the decking in its little canister holder. Inside we finished off the summer house with some nice cladding and a wooden floor, and we painted it. We buttoned up all the electrics, put all that in, and I think you'll agree that looks like a really nice little usable space now. We've used it many times since. After that, of course, we wanted to put some bits and pieces in there that would make it nice, so we wanted to get on with the lighting, so we installed some nano leaf lighting, an Alexa hub, an Alexa studio speaker, and a table that comfortably seats 4 people. We've been in there many times with our good friends Alan and Lorraine, our neighbours, and we've had some lovely meals in there. Then, as you can see, we went back over to our decking, painted our wall black. We put a new top around our tree there, a new decking top, painted the decking. We painted the wall black. You can see the new top, decking top that we put on the surround there. The old one that we had was pretty terrible, so we put a new decking top on there. We'll give that a stain, and I'm sure you'll agree that looks all nice, neat and tidy. Also rewired the lights so they're all buttoned up. Thanks for joining me, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you on the next one.